Good evening, everybody. Welcome on to another stream. It is Thursday night, and we're back from Albany. So good to be back as always. Hope everyone's been doing well and behaving themselves. But today, I will be analyzing some games that I have played at Albany, the Boblin Superstars July 4th event in Albany, New York. I have all of my score sheets here. They are all, I have gone through pretty much every single thing here. Oh, I'm missing another one. There's one here too. All of these I have gone through. I will be kind of showing you some of the more notable things that happened in my tournament, some of the more notable games, and maybe some weird positions that came up over those 32 games. Have my scorecard here as well for you to see, and got through all 32 games. But yeah, I hope you guys out there may have been paying attention or watching the live the live stream on the Let's Play Scrabble YouTube channel. Again, really really good coverage and commentary, as always, from the Let's Play Scrabble team. And yeah, I hope you guys caught some of it at least. And again, you guys can watch it back or on the Let's Play Scrabble YouTube channel, all 4 days of the event. Yeah, you guys can check it out in your own time. But yes, if you want the kind of TLDR rundown of how my tournament went, yeah, I was number 8 seed in this stacked division of 52 players. I was seeded number 8. Obviously expecting to do well, the top 10 get money in the placings, as well as obviously some other Boblin cash incentives for people who are rated in the bottom half of the division or lower rated in the division. So yeah, I managed to finish in 9th place. Got some money, which is all good. But yeah, it was a bit of a kind of up and down journey throughout the tournament, so I'll kind of be showing you through that later on. But yeah, I've got my Quackle thingy open right now, so I'm going to start with that. But yeah, I'm just going to go through the games real quick, again a quick rundown of how things went game by game, and I will go through some of the games in front of you as we go. Alright, so I'm going to read down my scorecard. Okay, so the first game, I played against Andrew Golding, 17-10. Well, he's one of the lower rated players in the division. You would think there's a relatively straightforward start, but nope, that wasn't how it happened. I lost by 168 points in the game 1. He ended up getting 3 bingos very near the start, and I couldn't bingo until move 11. And actually, I exchanged twice as well. Changed the queue twice. It ended up that he ended up scoring with the queue later on for 50 points, and he could have actually bingoed with the queue with what, 90 points. So he could have actually lost by more. But 168 points was my first game. Game 2, I played against Tim Weiss, got that win on the board, and I managed to overturn my minus 168 spread by winning by 198. So I'm now with a 30-point spread in the positive. Yeah, I got pretty lucky with that one, to be fair. Didn't really do too much wrong with these moves, many of these moves at all. But yeah, pretty solid play on my part in that game, at least. Game 3, a player that I haven't played for maybe about 10 years, 10, maybe 12 years now. Oshiveri Avwanaga from Nigeria, visiting from there. And I don't know if I've actually beaten him before, but I managed to change that this time around. With game 3, I managed to win 453 to 358. He was threatening a bingo at the end, and my move of Ibidem, which does not take an S, Ibidem, blocked pretty much every single bingo lane that was possible at the end. So managed to run out with a 95-point win, and to kind of cut all of this boring stuff short, game 4 is where we're actually going to analyze the first game, and this game is against Dennis Ikegaregor, one of Nigeria's best players, and has been one of his best players for the best part of probably 2 decades now. Very strong player, seeded number 6 in this tournament, and yeah, again, one of the front runners to win this tournament as well. So what we'll do is pick it up in game 4. We'll head over to the Quackle screen right now. Okay, so this is what we're gonna show you. Let me just put some stuff down real quick. Okay, so game 4. So I don't actually know. Obviously, I don't know what Dennis's racks actually were, but we're going to just obviously just guess what he has. I need to just quickly pull up the boards because I actually cannot remember where he put this word. Okay, so his first move was a we, with the consonant not on the next to the doubles. Here my first rack was, I think it was this. So yeah, it wasn't really a great deal to think about here in terms of what to play. BTO for 19 is my highest scoring play. Keeps EU, which is obviously not great, but in the grand scheme of things could be a lot worse. I think this is actually the best move here right now, so we'll commit that. Then he plays QI. I didn't draw particularly great here. So to go with my EU, I pick out EG and NU. Again, I think it's a relatively straightforward play of Genu in this move, just unduplicating everything, and I think it is again one of my highest scoring plays. Again, my two highest scoring plays totaled to 36 in the first two turns, which is not great, but we'll have to deal with that. And so I've already analyzed all these games already through Macondo, and this one was also the best play. This is where that he ends up bingoing. So he has this rack here. He ends up playing Tonemic and Tate. So there are actually no other bingos that play underneath TAI and underneath nothing that would hit the Q. But he has a much better play than Tonemic here. Well, this would be a blank. He actually has a word playing through the U, and that is documents. That's the only other possible bingo. Bit more, scores a few more points, and that would have been 8 points better off. But he plays the Tonemic here, so at least he found one of the bingos. Next move, I don't draw particularly well again. I still have a lot of vowels. I'm still trying to get rid of these E's and U's. But here, I do take a little bit of time to think about what to do. I'm already behind by a little bit. So, this is, you know, not an easiest play, not an easy move here. He ended up blocking Louis and a wheel, but I decided to open up the board and play Looney for 25. And I know keep the U, but I want to open up the board, try and get some bingo lanes open on the board for me to hopefully make a comeback very soon. So that's what I did. Here he plays Toused through the O right here as well. And then I draw. I still have a few too many vowels, but at least I have the X. This is actually one of the moves. I mean, if you would even want to call it a mistake, it's a 6-point error. I should have played something like O here, or Hinao, I think it was. Maybe that was slightly better than Hex. I just went for the score really. This is not overly good. Leaving what I did, the floating tiles of the N, the U, and the I down here all duplicate with what I have already leave, and also there's still a lot of A's and I's unseen, so I could end up drawing into another one of those, which would be near disaster for my rack. But something like Hinao would have been better, and I could still play the X off on a future turn. So Hinao here would have been slightly better, even though it's a 15-point difference. So yeah, there's a few other things that could have been slightly better there, but I went for 51. I'm already 85 behind, so if I scored 51, my lead, or not my lead, my deficit isn't quite so big, so I went with that. Hi to AI Algo in the chat saying, "Hey, welcome back. I know you didn't win, but the whole family played amazing. Congrats. Thank you very much for that." Yes, my wife played in the CSW Division 2, and she finished in 7th place. and my daughter Leah, who was seeded number 41, ended up in 17th place in Division 2 in CSW. And yeah, in her first ever CSW tournament, finishing easily, comfortably in the top half, with 17.5 wins. Very, very impressive there. And yeah, it's finishing very much amongst lots of Collins, experienced Collins players in Division 2, so it was very pleasing to see. And actually, her rating went up from 1015 to 1303 in this tournament. It actually went up almost 300 points in her Collins rating, so that was very encouraging and good to see. A lot of the hard work paying off there, so it was good. So yeah, we all did relatively well. Okay, so what did we do here? So he played Firk, F-I-R-K. Oops, wait, that's not right. What's the command? What's the... I can't remember what the... oh, okay. Wait. Okay, I got it. Okay, so Firk has been played. Here, I have this rack now, which kind of looks like garbage again, on the face of it. And, kind of is, actually, if you kind of look around the board and not really see much. But there's a hidden move here. A slightly hidden move that you probably wouldn't necessarily always be looking to see. But you're looking at all the floating tiles on the board, and you might end up arriving at the C here of Tonemic and realizing that there is a bingo that plays through the C, but it's going upwards and it ends with the C. It doesn't really do anything. But if you actually look at the list, it actually still plays. So Genu takes an A hook as well as the S, and Butanoic actually still plays. And this is fortunately the move that I played. Had to find this move here, getting me back into the game. 72 points, needed to find that, and that was the best play. Here, after the fact, after the game, Dennis told me he had no vowels, so he played Vom. He was actually thinking of playing something else through the Eye of Tonemic, but has to play through there. This is actually another position that I thought was really interesting. I had this rack here, and I ended up thinking about this move for probably like 5 minutes, just because there was no real standout play. Because I actually cannot really do too much to either play off the J, either play off a bunch of A's, either to score more points. I can't really do all of those things at the same time, or keep the S, for example. Equity-wise, something like Jack, J-A-K, looks pretty good, because you're getting rid of the J in one of your A's, but for obvious reasons, the spot underneath Jack would be pretty dangerous, so didn't really want to play that. Especially with 3 S's unseen. No S's have been played yet, only the one blank, so I don't really know if Vom was actually a move where my opponent is very close to a bingo, or maybe he just has no vowels, like what he actually said, but I was putting him on something maybe slightly stronger than what he actually had, or maybe he was close to something. So I was wondering about this S, and I really didn't want to keep this S spot open on Firk. So you can see that if I play Jack, this is actually kind of obstructs this S spot a bit as well, but I could actually play something like also underneath. So that's kind of what I was thinking. But then I was like, wait a minute, why don't I play also first? And then I have a ready-made Jack to go above it. Because this is not as likely to get blocked. with this J because there are not that many, like, you need to have some big tiles to be able to actually play across here, and it's not that easy to play here. So I thought about playing also, and you can see here Jack statically very good, but also is down here. But once you kind of simulate things, also jumps straight to the top by quite some margin. You can see that it's about 2 or 3% win percentage ahead. Well, now it's about 4% ahead of the next thing, which is JA. Quite a very simple JA just on the left of Butanoic. So it's one of those moves where you kind of have to think about it. And again, I was glad that I had a bit of time to think about it. And yeah, you can see it's about 4% ahead. So yeah, that's the move that I blame. And also blocks this S spot, so this is good. He actually did have an S. He actually played step here. For 38. And with my AAJ, I ended up drawing D R Y blank. So that's my rack now. And that was actually not too bad because I also had JAY where step was, so I could actually, I'm guaranteed a 40-point play no matter what. But step coming down, okay, he had to kind of burn an S to play something there. Maybe he has more than one S potentially. It's quite possible that is the case. But yeah, I have to fall back on my setup play. That was Jack, which was the best play. So we'll do that. Okay, so I'm slightly ahead, but this is the point where actually Dennis plays, well, he actually puts down on the board like DO, and I was like, what is he going to be playing here? Well, he plays doving, I think he plays doving, or puts it on the board first, and it was yeah, it was an interesting thing because he left it on the board for like, I don't know, a little while. Maybe I don't know. Maybe it felt like a long time, but he left it on the board for a little bit. So I don't really quite know what he was thinking at that point. But then he ended up taking it back off the board again. And then he ends up playing Drovings up at the top of the board. And I was like, oh, okay. So he plays it, and I actually challenge it. It is a word. It's 92 points plus 5, so 97 points for him. And I'm now down by 83 points. But I just played Jack. I have this rack now, and I do take some time to think about what to play here because there's not that many things that I can do or places to play. I was thinking that the Y might have been a useful tile for this Y-go hook here, although it's going to be very difficult to hit this double as well, or let alone that, hit both doubles with the Y, or anything that could play underneath here with EXO and some other tile that goes underneath these two as well. But yeah, there were some options available. There were two options available here. One of them was Sardonyx for 72, and the other one was Tardians, which is probably slightly more normal to see, not making the blanks an X, but yeah, that's kind of what we were kind of considering here. And again, Tardians is slightly worse because of the A placement. The Sardonyx also gives away, well, I say it gives away fewer flows, but these are kind of nice flows to put out here in this case. But yeah, Tardians is what I played. Sardonyx is actually slightly better, not by much, but slightly better. So after all that, I'm now only about 10 points behind. He ends up playing Fay, F-A-Y. And I'm actually now with a rack that's actually very tricky. I have this rack now. This rack here, I'm now 40 points behind. 40 points behind, and it's actually very, kind of very tough to really score a lot of points, or try and figure out what my path to victory really is here. And you can see that the tiles left as well are actually not bad as well. So this is already not looking good for me. And the number of places actually bingo on this board is actually very low, because there's no O for exile as well. You're looking at this R, and then another R up top, and then maybe this L, which is not that easy to hit. So yeah, it's kind of well, and obviously this D as well, Tanyan, so kind of slim pickings here. But yeah, that is kind of where we're at with that one. But at the same time, I was like looking at it, and I was like, well, the only way I can really score points is to play something like Crawl for 32, but I'm now keeping DII. It is the best, or the best play statically, but it is not really the best play. It's not really the best play when you sim it. So I'm going to sim it real quick for you now, and you can see that it prefers to kind of play something like Wire for on this E of Genua, and keep a better rack and not necessary pressure on the scoreboard. So yeah, this is something that the engine really likes here, is to do something here, but it actually blocks the R. And yeah, maybe my move actually was not right, and I really didn't know what I should do, because I was now contemplating, do I have a better chance to actually bingo and win this game, or have I got a better chance of just scoring a lot of points, not bingoing, and just winning just by scoring a lot of points without a bingo. So I actually decided to go down the route of the latter, really, playing Crawl for 32 points, try and just put myself close-ish on the scoreboard and hope to not draw one of the other two eyes that are in the bag. This also takes out one of the biggest spots on the board as well, to play something like a PR play or GR. I mean, I don't really love this play either, but I felt like I was kind of stuck in this situation, so I decided to play Crawl, and puts me now 8 points behind. So he plays Hop here next, so this was not a move I wanted to see. It could have been worse, because he could have blocked something or narrowed my options to what to do. I mean, he could have narrowed my options. I mean, Crawl was not good also because it blocks the L bingo lane in column A, and also blocks this D of Tardians as well. So it kind of does both of those things for him, and it just leaves two spaces for the R up here and down here. Thank you, Muffled Tentacle, for the resub. 28 months. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate that a great deal. And again, well done for winning this tournament. This very, very difficult tournament to win. A lot of very strong players in this tournament. Again, big shout out to you. Yes, again, if there's anyone out there watching now, then please say hello in the chat as well. It would be great to see you here getting involved. And again, you guys can get involved with the analysis here too. Trick is to draw lots of blanks. Yes. That always helps. Always helps. Okay, so Dennis plays Hop here. So I'm now 41 points behind. Not in good shape. So with my DII draw here, I ended up drawing pretty well. I drew late from the bag, which is actually, again, a bit of a result. I mean, obviously a result if I could actually draw into a bingo, but from DII, yeah, there's not all that many bingos to draw into immediately, and I'd be very lucky to, but no big deal. So yeah, I'm really now stuck here because I have, wait, let me just alphabetize this rack for some of you who would like it that way. Okay, so there's 4 tiles left in the bag. There's not many places to bingo. There's 2 kind of, let's say, repeat or duplicated floating tiles of the R here. So actually, it might not even be worth even blocking, because you can block one. I mean, from my opponent's point of view, you could block one, but the other one's still open. Like, you could try and block one now and block one later if you want to do that, but he didn't feel the need to do that. So yeah, that is something I think about. Yes, Muffet Tentacle. Yes, hope you're treating yourself to lots of Honeycrisp apples. Yes, you're going to be living the life here. Random cereal stuff. Yeah, exactly. Why not splurge? Exactly. You should. You deserve it. Hi to MKW Joseph as well. Okay, so I have this 4 tiles in the bag. The only thing that I could even think about that was even worth playing, again, I'm 41 points behind, and crawl to some extent kind of helps because I'm not that far away. If I knew, if I was going to be further behind, I might feel like I needed to score more points in this turn, but I can really go all in on trying to score, try and get for that bingo. And there's a lot of different plays on this kind of generated choices. Like, I could even go as far as I don't know, where is it? Move, generate 50 choices. I could do that, and you know what? None of those things are even. None of the things that I actually did are even on this list. Exactly, yes, I did not want to go to Olive Garden again. Hi to Chess Bunzo also, good to see you here. Good evening. We're just doing some Albany 4th of July / Bob Linn Superstars analysis / kind of highlights of best bits. Yeah, the best move is not even, well, the move that I didn't even, well, I don't know my best move, but the move that is not even on the list on Quack over the top 50 moves. But what I actually did was actually play Ilya here. So this, as you can see at the bottom is right at the bottom of the list. I'm going to simulate this, and you can see Ilya jumps right to the top. This sets up the D hook. There's still an L unseen as well. Doesn't allow an S hook. Allows another A floating tile. And it leaves one tile in the bag. So I felt like this actually does win. I'm not saying it doesn't win, but it allows me to at least draw into a bingo, or allow me to draw into a playable bingo fairly often. And you can see here is way ahead of everything else. So I did that. So do I know what he had? I do know what he actually had here. So he had this rack. So this is where the craziness begins in this game. This is, again, just so if you guys have just turned up, we're going through all these games. I've got maybe like 5, 6, 7 games to go through today for you. This is game 4 of the event. I'm now 2-1 on day 1. This is Dennis's rack. So for most people in the chat, probably you maybe relatively high-level expert, even if you're not relatively high-level experts, you probably would notice that there's a bingo here, and a playable one. Again, we were talking about these 2 R's of Tardians and Furks that have not been closed, because there are 2 of them, so why bother? And yeah, he actually has Resinier here. So he has it in both places. Actually, he should probably play it down here, because this would block a bunch of bingos that would play down here. So the thing is, Dennis did not actually play this bingo. So this is strike number 1. He actually could have just won this game. He's 40. Well, wait, let me just update this real quick. He is 35 points ahead. He would get 60 points from this. You can see the tiles left, all pretty good. That would be on my rack, or 1 or 7 of those 8 would be on my rack. He would instantly win here. Like, and he would run anything that I would be able to bingo with. But he didn't find this. What he ended up doing was he ended up putting down Inia onto the board, and he did that. He took it back off, and then he puts down Neen, or Nene, however you pronounce it. I guess the bird, right? And he puts that down because there are no S's left. So he takes that off and puts down Ilia. Then takes it back up again, and then he ends up actually his final move was this. So he played it for 4 points. He went all in on just blocking. I'm sure he was pretty sure that there were no bingos onto an R or maybe onto an A that would fit now. So that was what he did. I ended up drawing into this rack here. So I had bingos that would play onto Iliad. I actually ended up drawing the L as well, which was quite fortunate because I just drew into it. This would have been maybe easier for him to block, or maybe easier for him to bingo if he had the L, but I drew into the L as well, and I couldn't really see what I could do here. So I saw this E. I have about 2 minutes left. I don't have much time. And I'm looking at this E, and I'm like, I feel like there's a bingo here through the R and the E. So I was like, I think I've seen this alphagram before. And I decided to play... I was like, is Red Tailor a word? And I was like, I don't think that's right. And then now I have about 1 minute left. And then I'm like, okay... I don't know what to do here, and I'm like, the only way I can win is a bingo here. I have to just try something, and I was like, I'm sure I've seen this alphagram before, so I was like, okay, well, I think it's going to be retrialed. So I played, not like that. So I played retrial. This is, well, you can't see the pop-up. It says that retrial is not an acceptable word. Make play anyway. So I played retrial. I have about 7 seconds left. Like I had to play something, and then Dennis is like, "Oh no, I lost this game." But it's like, well, I have to challenge it because it's going to lose me the game. I have to challenge it. So we type it in, and it comes back with a big red X, and it comes off the board, and he's going, "Yes!" He's like, "Yes!" He thought he had lost, and he was like, "Yes! I can't believe I actually still can win. I'm going to win this game." So he challenges it, and that comes off. So Dennis is generally. I thought it was trailered retrial. Well, I didn't realize that it was trailered. So trailered is actually the real anagram for those 9 tiles. Retrialed is not one. I guess it's probably something that you probably might be. It sounds like it should be a word. Although when I put it on the board, I was like, this doesn't feel right. This doesn't look like something that's a word. But I'm just having to hope that maybe he doesn't challenge it, or maybe I'm just misremembering. But I was like, something in the back of my mind has to be right, but it's not. Anyway, so Dennis normally plays the game very quickly, but he doesn't have all that much time either. He plays Grise for 15 points, so I'm going to commit that. So now I have 7 seconds. I'm now down by 54. But he has 1 tile left, right? He decides to take out this bottom part of the board completely. But I will now tell you, there was one move that I have seen before he played the NE on the board. And in 7 seconds I slapped it down on the board so fast that he didn't even know what to do. So I played it. I was like, this is another... I'm going to play Twaddlier. I'm going to play Twaddlier onto the board. Through the W and the D. And I was like, well, that was my other play, and he hasn't gone out. I have another shot to actually win this game. And if you generate the choices, look, Twaddler is a word. So he challenges it, comes back green, and he couldn't believe it. So I actually wasn't sure if Twaddler was a word. I thought it was just Twiddly, and I obviously haven't reviewed my relatively low probable nines. And it came back good. So I was actually like maybe 50% sure of this being a word, but I was like, I have to try it. I mean, it sounds like something that would be a word. And that was it. So I got an extra 5 points for it. And that was that. Final score. 4-7 to me and 4-16 to Dennis. So I managed to pull this one out the fire somehow. Yes, I knew Twiddlier was good, and then when I put it on the board, he was like, and then he was like, I know this is good because I know Twaddly and know Twiddly, and I was like, okay. I wasn't actually 100% sure if Twaddly was good or not, but then he challenged it anyway, so it was good. So, phew. So in that it was kind of bizarre because retrialed playing a phony was actually my second best play in this game. In the last move, because Twaddlier would have been the best play to win, and then preserving Twaddlier by phonying or passing or whatever would have actually been the second best move. So it was kind of strange that playing a phony ended up being, in a weird way, the second best move here. MPW was asking what round of tournament was this. This was round 4, so this was just before lunchtime on day 1. But yes, this was the kind of the crazy game on day 1 for me. I'm going to try and go through some more games as well. So yeah, that was game 4. So I went up to 3-1. Game 5, I played against Josh Sokol. Won by 132 points. Bingoed 3 times in the first 6 moves. And yeah, he kind of struggled throughout. And by that point, I had actually already blocked the board up to the point where you can't do anything. So up to 4-1. Game 6, I played Josh Castellano. I managed to win by 120. Managed to bingo first, then he bingoed, then I bingoed him again immediately, and kept the board very close and scored a lot of points. So yeah, he couldn't really do much else after that. Again, if you can restrict Josh Sokol to 356 and Josh Castellano to 339, then I think that's relatively fortunate as well. Just keeping it tight for my opponents, so up to 5-1. Game 7, I played against Sami Okazaga. This was actually pretty much again, I've already analyzed all these games through my condo. This game was pretty much played almost perfectly for the first 9 moves. I only lost by 23 points, but yeah, in the end, my ladders were not good enough to be able to win in this situation anyway. So I couldn't really have done much to actually win the game. But it's a 23-point loss, putting me to 5-2. Then to finish day 1, I was on the stream against Team Ensakak. Ended up losing by 3 points because he didn't block the out bingo that I had with the Panners for 90 points. Probably should have lost by a lot more. Again, if he kind of didn't let that on the board, I don't think this game was winnable either, based on what I had. So yeah, it's a relatively tough ending to the day. Ending up on 5-3. Then we go to day 2. In game 9, I played Bradley Whitmarsh. This was almost another definition of just being there was no real way to win either. I somehow managed to make it to 460. I don't really know how, but again, out of my, I think 11 moves, 9 of them were the top moves. Only lost a few points here and there. Lost by 56 points in the end. So now I'm down to 5-4. And then game 10, I played against Winter, who actually went on a pretty big winning streak, actually, at the start of the tournament. And I actually dealt him one of his very few losses at the start of the tournament. So actually, again, there were only 2 moves. To 8 out of 10 moves were perfect. The other 2 moves were such minor errors. They were, well, I say minor errors. They might not even be errors, but very small errors there. I actually ended up playing a phony bingo against Winter, and he didn't challenge it, which actually ended up giving me the win. I ended up playing Pighead, Pighead. Again, sounds very plausible, but again, it sounds like about 5 other words like pinhead, big head, pig-headed. They're all good words, but not pig-head. But I played it pretty quickly and played it confidently, and he didn't challenge it, so it actually gave him it actually allowed him to bingo off of that as well. So maybe that helped, but he could have bingoed without that on the board. So yeah, I managed to beat Winter there, so up to 6-4. Game 11, I played Euclid Hui from Hong Kong. Close game. I was actually losing towards the end. Managed to bingo towards the end and won by 59. So now up to 7-4. And then game 12, which was on the stream actually. I was playing against Ben Schonbrun. Managed to win by 95 points. I actually missed a bingo third move, which was not great. And also chickened out of pluralizing TUTTI. Wasn't 100% sure of it. Of putting the S on the end of it. It was one of those where I was like, I'm pretty sure this is good, but I do not want to play a phony on the stream. Revealed the bingo miss. Oh man, this is bad. So I had wait, let me just okay, so I had let me just type it into the chat. It was a really bad miss. I actually should never have missed this. I had this rack plus, and there was a floating eye on the board through 2T. So I ended up playing, I played Greased. The eye was actually, so if you're looking at the board right now, the eye would have been in this spot right here. So I played Greased, Grieced, for 44 points. And was like, I looked at these tiles and was like, I'm sure there's something here. And I couldn't work out what it was. And then I was like, Grease plus an S? Like, there's no bingos that just add an S on it. So then I was like, I don't think there's anything there. And Grease scores 44. And I'm keeping my S. So I'm like, okay, I'll just go with that for now. But I missed Gressized. Again, pretty bad miss. Not my finest moment, but yeah, it is. That's how it worked. And then and then when I played Greased, 2T takes an S, and I could have played Fairies underneath, and it would have been like 24 points more than playing Aerifiers onto the E of Greased. So yeah, I wasn't sure of 2T's. I just liked how Aerifiers kind of blocked up the board and also blocked up that E. The ZE spot is always really dangerous. So I wanted to just kind of corner off the board and take what actually was a 145 point lead, and there was literally nothing to do on the board after 4 moves. There was no space for anything, whereas Fairies would have kept everything open. But yeah, I ended up managing to see it through and win that one. So 8-4 after 12. This is a very streaky tournament for me also. Has to be said, because game 13 I played against Wellington Jigeri, and yeah, I didn't make really many mistakes in this game either, but he got 3 bingos in a row at the start of the game and get moves 2, 3, and 4. Follows it up with 43, 50, 36, 63. On his way to a 5-16. I only lose by 72. I could potentially have been threatening for a bingo at the end, but didn't quite get there, so lost that one 8-5. Then played Matthew O'Connor game 14, winning early on, but I opened up the board for one moment and then he bingos onto it, and then I couldn't really, and then he bingos again, so he wins by 99. So now down to 8-6. Game 15 I played against Enoch Nawali. This is pretty much unwinnable also. He plays 5 bingos. All of them are all natural bingos. And he gets 531. Actually, his first 4 bingos didn't even have an S in them either. And his final bingo had an X and 2 S's in them. So, yeah, and he finished the game in his classic, very, very hasty style, finishing in like 7 minutes. So, yeah, very easy game for him. So, yeah, I lost that one. And after a 3-game losing streak, who do I have to play in game 16? I have to play Adam Logan, of course. This is a game that I think I will go through with you now. There was an interesting moment in here, so we'll go through it right now. So let's do that. Okay, let's go back, do this again, and we'll reset this. Okay, let's reset everything. So here we are. I'm going fast. Relatively easy first move here. I have Vox. There's no bingo here. Vox is the best play. Easily the best play here. And then he plays Nautia. So interesting move. He plays like this. Oop. He plays it like this. Again, I was like, why is he playing it Nautia? Why is he playing Nautia and not something like Wonkia? And I was not really sure. So I was like, okay. Well, I'll ask him after the game about why he did that. And actually, I asked him after the game, and he just said, oh, I completely missed Wonkia. I didn't even think about making it a K. So I was like, oh, okay. There was no real reason. He just didn't see it. Which was slightly bizarre for someone of Adam Logan's ability. Was not expecting that, but okay. So yeah, because my leave was very strong after Vox, I have this rack, and I play the highest scoring bingo Redshift for 86. That's the move that I made, and then not only that, he plays Goslets and Redshifts, also good. I did put him in hold for like 30 seconds, making sure Redshift was take an ass. It does take an ass. It's just Red Shire that does not take an ass. But I got pretty lucky again because I pick out the bag Edition, and there's an ass on the board for Editions for 86, so I now keep my lead. He plays through the A with Canner for 34 points. I have this rack now. And yeah, doesn't like my move of Bop here. It's not particularly great because it opens up the board at the top of the board. It's not good. Does not like it. It likes things like Biro, making things a little bit more difficult to use. You keep the A for ABBA and the P for Poe as well, so you've got things that can go up there. That would be a much more sensible play than what I end up doing. You can see my move of Bop here is not great in comparison, but yeah, that's what I did. That's what I did. Pretty dangerous. That's what I did. So, fortunately here, he did not use the triple. He actually had a Q. He played QIN at the bottom of the board. And I went all in on trying to keep the best tiles for the Bop. I was very close to being rewarded with that. I ended up drawing into this rack. There's no 7s here, and there's actually no playable 8s through the E of Editions. So I ended up playing AR at the top of the board, just blocking that triple, keeping, say, optimal leave here. Apart from getting rid of the A, of course, but scoring some points doing that, so let's just do that. Just take the points, block that, get rid of the R. So here's the interesting moment here. He ends up playing the word Bluey on the board, and I oh wait, I do this, and I end up drawing into AI. So this is the interesting move here of the game. Once you kind of go through all the floating tiles, there are no playable bingos on the board. So then now it comes down to what tiles do you want to get rid of. You obviously want to get rid of the eye, but do you just get rid of the eye? And if so, where? And do you want to get rid of anything else? So we're looking at what's left in the bag. I was thinking of getting rid of other tiles, but then I was like, why don't we just get rid of the eye? The highest place to play it is actually just here, I think, for 11 points. But crucially the cool thing about this is that if you actually have these 6 tiles and you draw an A, you actually can draw into Atterbrins here. So there's 5 A's. Well, there's 6 A's unseen. Draw into an E, you can draw 8 Brins. There's also 6 E's unseen. And if you draw into an O, you have Sorbitan, and there's 3 O's unseen. So, sorry, there are actually 7 E's unseen. So 6 plus 7 plus 3. Out of 16 tiles, 16 of those tiles, 16 out of 46 actually gives you a 9 timer. I mean, I actually haven't even talked about any other letters that potentially do that. I actually didn't quite go through all of them, but I mean, other tiles would also just give you bingos. Not even talking about 9 timers here. So I was like, okay, well, those odds are pretty good. Chances are that with a B, Adam might not play there. There's probably a chance that he might play next to the eye or underneath the eye and go somewhere else. That might be the case here. So I ended up drawing, playing off the eye. And then he very quickly plays underneath and plays county. Oh, with a C, not with a V. Not in that spot, sorry. Okay, here we go. So he plays that for 42 points. So I have this, and fortunately for me, I drew the E. So, very easy move here now. I did the hard work of drawing the best tile, and I have 8 Brins 440. So that came down, and it paid off. Paid off handsomely in this case. Playing off 1 tile and kind of gambling on a 1 in 3 chance of bingoing onto the B. I think he actually ended up saying later on in the tournament that he had like 6 9 timers played against him or something. Something like that, and this was one of them. He ends up, so we're going to play the rest of it out. He plays Mo. I play Erov to, well, actually I'm not going to tell you what letters I have because it doesn't really matter at this stage. But I play Erov for 9. Then he plays Team. I think that's 22. I have this rack now, so I have Drudge for 35, which is what I played, keeping the Z. And then he plays Lie E. Wait, what was that? He plays it in between here, like Lonely to Only. Sorry. So yeah, really all I had to do now was just to keep the board blocked from here on out. I played Tala, T-A-L-A. There's no other hooks available down here. Just blocking this bingo lane underneath the E. So just doing that, and keeping my Z in my pocket. So I have he plays J-A down here. It's kind of a desperation play for him. But fortunately, because of that I kept the Z, and I actually end up drawing one of the hooks for Ya. I have Zag for 50 points. And then, what did he have here? I can't even read my handwriting. Oh yeah, he plays Wit. Sorry, he plays Wit here. And then I have this. I wasn't sure about Coact. This would have blocked Price, but at the end of the day, I just wanted to. This was actually the last game of the day as well. I was just happy to finish off the game here. And yeah, that was what happened in the end. So I ended up winning this game 536 to 425. Again, beating Adam by 100 points plus is no mean feat. And again, getting a little bit lucky with the 9 timer and him not being able to do a few things that he would like to played a part in that. So I ended up winning that last game of day 2, putting myself at 9 and 7. And yeah, still with work to do into the following days, following game. So what we're also going to do is analyze the next game, which is game 17, and this is a game against Amit Chakrabarti. I don't have all that much information about Amit because he's not actually that active, but obviously he's very experienced. He's played in the Worlds before, if I remember right. Obviously, a very strong player. I mean, he's doing relatively well in the tournament. So yeah, he used to play a lot back in the day. I guess he's not playing so much now, but coming out for the big tournament, you should always, you should never underestimate anyone in this division, and that is something I'm going to show you right now. And how this is a crazy game. Honestly, one of the craziest games of the tournament for me. So, okay, so he plays Borax, first move. And then I have this rack. So I ended up thinking about this for quite some time. Because I was like, what words do I even have here? Do I even have any bingos? And I was like, I think I thought about it for maybe 3 or 4 minutes. I couldn't actually, to be completely honest, I only saw one thing that would play, and actually it was the best one. The other bingo, non-sugar, isn't the best play here. It's a relatively, it is a uncommon word. Haungen for 67 points. That's the one that I saw, and I played it to the left of Borax. Because the X has already been played, I'm putting the X. There's no danger of this. Whereas you play on the other side, the Z or the J could play there potentially. So I'm just like, okay, that's really the main thing, and also the X, no X danger here either now. So I played it on that side, but you know, in the end of the day, the game's never an easy game, is it? He ends up playing Hoik here, Hoik. So that was what was played. I actually asked him after the game, like if I played Haungen on the other side, would he have had something to play there? And he actually said he actually had the word Rookish, so he actually could have played that instead. That would have been a lot better. That would have been 85 points. And if I played Haungen on the other side, then he would have just played Hook. So it doesn't really matter that much. He would have got a lot of points anyway. Okay, so 60 points for him. These are relatively easy moves in the grand scheme of things here. So I have this rack. I was just like, please do not play at the bottom part of the board. Now that I've opened up the top. Fortunately, he played Hoik. I say fortunately, he got 60 points. It's not necessarily fortunate, but it didn't block my move. Or was either that, or I hope that he opened up an eye for Quietude, but he didn't. But I have equated for 68 points. Easily the best play here. And then he plays a bingo. He plays Outswore for 70. So again, keeping pace here. I have this rack here now, and I can't use any of these tiles on Outswore. I have a bingo that plays into the D of Equated. Poulard, which is what I played, 72 points. Again, not too happy that I can't really play anything in the top right corner, but again, can't say 72 points is a bad thing. So after 3 moves, each we're 174 to 207. It doesn't end there because he plays Yez. He actually doesn't have the vowel, fortunately. He just plays the Y and the Z for 45 points. I end up now, I'll say slowing down, but I do have this rack. I play Daff, D-A-F-F, to the left of Poulard, 36 points. Yeah, it just has to be done, I think. There's not much else to consider here. Getting rid of these Fs. Here he slows down a little bit now. He plays Giving through the end, obviously just getting rid of, dumping some tiles here. And I'm hoping that this is now like a slight reprieve now. Now we're going to slow down and kind of go back to normality. I have this rack. I now actually am thinking about what to play here. There's a lot of different options to make here. I was actually not sure about M-I-C-H-T, which would have played here. And I was like, Mitch, I'm pretty sure Mitch has an anagram, but I was not sure enough to play it, because there's a lot of like ICHT words that are like Scots for might or whatever, or light. And I was like, yeah, I wasn't sure. Hi Mopo, yes, that is you. The anagram is, yeah, I'm sure you would have told me if the anagram was good or not in Collins, if you have got that far with studying, but I wasn't sure. So I was like, I can't just like, again, I tell this to the kids that I teach, do not play phonies, and please do not score 0 points. So I was like, okay, let's just do something that actually just works, that maybe is not as good, but let's just make sure that it does something, it scores points, it keeps the pressure on, let's not do anything stupid here. So I end up playing, well, there's actually a lot of different options here. So yeah, Mitch was definitely the best play, I just wasn't sure enough of it. I ended up playing something that's actually not even on this list. Oh, actually no, it is. No, it is on this. I played Impy here. So I was like, okay, well, I'm trying to defend a little bit. I'm trying to disrupt this triple lane, anything with this O, any bingos ending with S. I'm trying to just like contain the board a little bit. Mitch and Mick in CSW, there you go. If there's any reason now to switch, then there you go, you've got it now. Muffin was saying, hey, I played 0 phonies this tournament. Well, I can... Well, you've already seen I have already played at least one. I played a few other ones too, but yeah. So I played Impy. It's about a 7-point mistake. It's not ideal, but okay. I was like, well, thought about this move for a little too long. So yes, the craziness continues because he plays Livor here, and doesn't seem like much at the moment. But I am holding this rack, and I'm like, please put an R out in space. Please put an R out in space, and he does. And it gives me a perfect place to play Reclothe for 92 points. Bear in mind, I'm already 11 ahead, and then not only that, he gives me an extra 5 points. So 97 plus 11, I'm now 108 points ahead, and I'm like, now I'm an easy street. The board is now pretty blocked. There's not much happening here. There's the Fs. There's nothing to bingo down here. There's just this G and this I, which is not really that great. And this is done. It's game over now, right? It's game over. Well, I was wrong, because through this I, he plays Tenacity. Again, bear in mind both blanks have already been played, so he had a natural Tenacity for 86. So I'm like, all right, okay, that's no problem. Because it doesn't really matter that much, because you know what, I've just joined into this, and because you play Tenacity, I can now play Airside. So, joke's on you, Amit. Joke's on you now. Because I can play Airside for 73 and I'm going to be about 100 points ahead again. So, that's what I did. But then as soon as he turns over his final tile out of the bag, he goes, haha, this is a crazy game. Because this is what he drew. So he plays Steamed for 92 points at the bottom of the board. So bear in mind, that you can see in the unseen tile bag, there's a J unseen, and this A is being played right here. So there's still now things to think about. But for those that are eagle-eyed, this could have been a much crazier move, because if you look at this generate choices, there's actually another place to play steamed. So 92 was this, but the 101 point steamed was actually right next to airside. He could have played that instead, and that would have pretty much kept everything blocked. This is crazy. He didn't even see this. He played it so fast, he didn't even think about it. It could have potentially been a game-losing play for him if he played steamed, and then obviously I have the J, and it's going to be down again. We both had, well, he had a bit more time on his clock than I did, but he played it so fast, he didn't even think about it. Again, you might think that a 92 point play is more often than not going to be the best play, and 99% of the time it is, but sometimes things like this happen. Leaving 9 points on the table plus some extra positional points, not putting the A there. Well, we'll see. But still, 92 points on the board. He's now only 3 points behind. Somehow he is only 3 points behind, and I have drawn into this rack. I have nothing. I don't have anything good here. I don't have the J, I don't have an S, and I don't have the B or the W, which are the only other two highest scoring tiles left in this game. And both of those tiles are actually not that bad on this board. And there's only 4 tiles left, so now I'm looking at this board because like now the W could go in lots of different places, like underneath here, or here, or here, or here, and the B can go in lots of different places also, and I'm like, wait a minute. Don't tell me I'm going to lose this game now. After getting 4 bingos and plus equated for 68, that I've now scored 437 points in 7 turns. I've averaged around 62 points a move, and I'm still going to lose. So I was like, okay, wait a minute, let's just dial it down a bit. Let's just think about what we're going to be doing here. So, number one thing is that I have 3 ends on my rack. I need to get rid of, ideally, 2 of them. Number 2, as we said, the J is still unseen. I need to do something down here. This is like a game losing play if I don't block this and my opponent has the J. And number 3, there's 4 tiles in the bag, so I can't really play 4 or more tiles. So that kind of made up my decision here. I have to play something like Nan here. There's nothing really much else. I mean, you can still play the J above here and you get hit with Raj. But I have to give myself the best chance of winning. And Nan was there. So I have to play Nan. And then he plays Raj. So he plays Raj. So now I'm behind by 23 points into this endgame. I'm going to put down my rack now. So fortunately here, I drew into an S and I drew into a W, which is actually a really good tile to score with. The W was actually really important here. Because if it's kind of the double-edged sword of like, if I don't manage to score with a W, my opponent will score with a W. So now the W becomes really like it's really important now. So with this, there are many ways to win the game, and I actually found the second best combination here to win. I can't exactly remember what the best move was. But it was something very similar to what I ended up doing. I played Sui here, keeping TIN on my rack. I think something like Snee or something. It was something like that, where I could score more with a W next turn or something. I can't fully remember now, but it was only like 1 point worse. But Sui was my winning combination to start off with. And then he plays Lob and next to Airsides. And then I play Tin for 14 to go out. So that was it. that was a barnstorming game, 10 moves each. I won the game 508 to 498. He actually could have played Blay onto the AY, and he would have actually have also gone over 500 and lost. So yeah, that was an interesting, very interesting first game of day 3 for me. Game 17 against Amit Chakrabarti, taking me up to 10-7. We move on to game 18 against Rashid Balogun. Played him so many times over the years. Very, very strong player. He also missed the first, I think, 6 or 7 games of the tournament because of travel issues. So the fact that he's even playing me now, I'm already like 10-7, and I'm like, why am I playing Rashid? He's actually made his way up the leaderboard by winning a whole bunch of games against the lower rated players, and he's now maybe like 2 or 3 wins behind me. He's like nearing mid-table at this stage. Unfortunately for him, at the end of the tournament, he doesn't necessarily progress much further than the maybe the two-thirds up the table from there. But yeah, it's a close. I mean, it was a close game. He was actually ahead by 123 points before I got 2 bingos down in a row, and then I managed to eke out a 6-point victory against him. And he actually missed a winning play for him at the end, so I was fortunate that he didn't see that. Takes me up to 11-7. And then we'll go through these other games too. So game 19 I played against Chucks, Ehi Budu. Yeah, I don't really know. I felt like I probably should have done better maybe, but the real problem was that he bingoed at a very crucial time that blocked my bingo, and I ended up losing to him by 37 points in the end. Oh, hi! Thank you for the raid, Evie Baby. Thank you very much for the raid. Hope you had. I saw that you were playing Infinity Words on your stream, which is great because Ancient Cosmographer, I think, raided you as well. Who's the creator of Infinity Words, so it's great. Hope you guys had a good stream as well. I saw that Ancient Cosmographer was streaming earlier today also, doing your mystery lists. We'd love to see that. But yeah, at the moment, so what we're doing, I guess if you guys are just turning up, there was a major tournament happening, or that happened in Albany, New York. One of the biggest prize pools ever in the World Dictionary. I'm just going to put out the spiel in the chat for you. $75,000 donated by Bob Linn, who yeah, was incentivizing a lot of players to play in the World Lexicon. And yeah, of course, with lots of money involved, then a lot of the big players will come out to play. And again, Muffin with Tentacle, who's in the chat right now, was actually the winner of the tournament. He won 15 Gs. So again, well done to him. And a bunch of you in the chat also were either there or you were watching the stream on the Let's Play Scrabble YouTube channel. Again, go subscribe to their YouTube channel if you haven't already. You can watch all the live coverage from all 4 days of the event. But I'm just going through some of the games that I played over the 32 games, 4 days. I ended up being 8th seed for the event. I finished in 9th place, so I won some money. I think I won over $1,000. My wife, Lindsay, was in Division 2, and she finished in 7th place and also won just over $1,000. And funny enough, my daughter Leah, who has never played in a Collins tournament before, we trained her up for the last 2 months or so, seeded number 41 in Division 2 out of 48 players, I believe, and she finished in 17th and went home with $1,500, winning many class prizes, and her rating went up almost 300 points in CSW to up to 1303, which is not bad for a 13-year-old. So yeah, very, very interesting. So yeah, not too bad. Again, I don't know when they will play in another CSW tournament, but it's a nice rating to kind of be sitting on for next time, whenever that may be. Nice you guys made up pretty well. Yes, it was. Yeah, fortunately, we all three of us made some money out of it, so it was all good. Where do 13-year-olds go for shopping sprees these days? There's only one place you go, and it's called A, and it starts with an A and ends with Mazon. That's already happened already, so yeah. But I mean, who doesn't now, eh? That's for all ages. Anyway, I felt like I could have done better against Chucks, but yeah, he's a very strong player also. Lost by 37, so that's game 19. 11-8. Funny enough, we are now here onto game 20. Funny enough, I play against none other than Ancient Cosmographer. I think this is this our first ever tournament game? I actually don't really think we played before. I'm not sure we played before. Maybe we played at World Cup or something, but I think we're about to play at World Cup in Naperville, but then we didn't. Did we? Oh, you played me in South... Oh, you beat me in South Bend? Okay, well, I forgot about that already. Alright. Well, you beat me again, so... Just reasserting your dominance. 63-point victory for the Cosmographer. And yeah, struggled throughout, really. I only scored 85 points in the first 6 moves. Whereas he already got to 244. So the fact that I even made it a respectable score I was already okay with that by the end of the game. So 63-point loss, taking me to 11-9. Then game 21, I played against Chris Lipe, again former World Championship runner-up. I lost by 31 points. Kind of training throughout most of the game, actually. Well, actually, say most of the game, throughout the entire game, because he started off with a bingo and I never got back past him. And yeah, my letters just weren't quite there where I needed it. So 31-point loss, now down to 11-10. And of course, after losing again, I lost 3 games in a row earlier and I had to play Adam Logan, and I lost 3 games in a row again, and now I'm playing against Will Anderson, who you may know is the famous YouTuber and famous Scrabble player and former national champion on his Wonder 15 YouTube channel. Again, if you're not aware of that, you should go subscribe to it right now, because it's an amazing YouTube channel, kind of telling the folklore and really cool stories about Scrabble tournaments that go on there around the world. I managed to beat him, fortunately. We were on the backup stream table against Chris Live and again against Will. Managed to win by 62 points. Got pretty lucky here. 4 bingos in my favor. And yeah, not much to say really. All of them were just straightforward moves. So 12-10. And then I play against next game 23. I play against Kevin Fraley. Again, very strong player. Finished very highly at the World Championships in Vegas a couple of years ago. Relatively new-ish to Collins over the last 2 or 3 years, and has actually been crushing it actually since he has been playing Collins. And yeah, very strong opponent. But in this game, I managed to limit. I mean, he really couldn't do anything. I limited him to only 286 points. I got 447, so 161 point victory for me. I got some bingos down early on and just kept it tight. He couldn't do anything in the end. So 13-10. And then the final game of day 3, I played against Jared Robinson, who is a fellow Brit. I guess am I still a Brit? I don't really know if I count. Now I'm naturalized, of course. So, but game 24, I'm playing against Jared Robinson. I've known him, played him a number of times in the UK back in the day. Very strong player. I think he's an expert also in the UK. So yeah, he started off with 2 bingos off the bat. But yeah, I got back ahead mid-game, and it got to the point where I was now like, I left all the tiles left at the end of the game were all very good tiles, and I don't have a bingo. So I tried to just try and block as many bingo lanes as possible. And he had the S, he had the blank, and crucially the H to go next to my C to go out with a bingo. So he won by 87. So yeah, I don't know if I could have done much more about that one. Maybe not. But the rest of the game was pretty much perfectly played again. Couldn't do much else there, I think, based on how it panned out. So ended game day 3, 13 and 11. Not in great shape, to be fair. My spread, it wasn't particularly great, so I'm like in 19th place or something. Wasn't ideal, but yeah. My fantastic asked, did you qualify for the North American bonus cash? Yes, I do. Yeah, I do. now that I'm naturalized, so yeah, to get to be eligible for the North American bonus cash, you have to be a citizen of, I guess, America or Canada. Yes. What are French fries and chips? Yes, exactly. I will need to remember that to make sure I don't get my bonus cash revoked for next time. Okay, so we'll move on to game 12. We're moving on to game 25 against Noah Slatkoff. So 13 and 11. Got some work to do here. I mean, top 10, get money. I feel like I need to win at least 6 games. At very least, I ideally want to get to 20 wins. But have to see how it goes, right? We can't really do much about it, but we'll see. Game 25, I played against Noah Slatkoff. He had 2 bingos in the first 4 moves, so he was ahead. I managed to get Pelages, Pelages, how you pronounce it, Pelages, puts me into the lead. I managed to set up an X play along the triple, which he couldn't block, even though that he bingos at the end, but he couldn't do anything to outrun me, so I won by 33 points. Game number 1 of day 4 as a win. Good for me. Up to 14 wins. And then game 26, I'm playing against Mohammed Sulaiman. Okay, so the elder statesman of the division. Again, very strong in his own right. And I'll make a an admission here. So he bingos 3 times in a row in the middle at the start of the game. But one of them was a phony. I held him and I didn't challenge it. So he played over safe. And I was like, this doesn't look right. Why does this not look right? And I held him for like a minute and a half. And then I was like, okay, that's fine. And I was like, this was probably the first move of the tournament where I wasn't sure if my opponent played I wasn't sure if my opponent played the right play, and I just let it go. All the other times, I think, apart from obviously the phonies, all the other times I was wrong. So I was like, over safe, like, am I just not remembering that's a word? And I was like, but I feel like I've probably seen it somewhere before, or maybe someone's played it against me before, and I just remember it as just being played. So, yeah, I let that one go. Despite that, I am slightly behind going into the middle of the game. He plays his 3 bingos early on. He plays Howzat for 42, Yoni for 35, Lux for 39, and most crucially, towards the end, he played Poetics for 72 as a 4th bingo, which kills off the game. There could have been a way that I potentially could have won if I was more of a genius than I am now. If I fished off 3 different tiles at the end, and it is something that what's it? Macondo came up with was like, this bingo's a lot of the time, but I don't necessarily feel like I need to go into it at this moment in time. But if I played off 3 other tiles, I would have actually have ended up having a bingo that would have played as a 9 timer or somewhere else on the board. Just didn't think about what tiles I had. So yeah, I lost that game in the end. I lost by 58 points, and that's not really the reason why I lost. I think it's mainly because I didn't change the bingo on move 4. So, which was actually the second bingo of his 3 in a row. So that would have stopped him from bingoing that 3rd time. So yeah, that's really the reason why I lost that game. Not because I wasn't a genius enough to find the higher percentage winning play at the end. My move at the end was like a 5% chance of winning. The other move that was better was like a 16% chance of winning or something like that. It was like in the end, what I ended up drawing was actually the combination to actually win. But yeah, a loss. So still 14 wins. I'm on 14 and 12 after 26 games, and I only have 6 games left to try and get to the top 10. I'm now back down to like 17th or something. Game 27, I'm playing as Neil Gann. So yeah, he kind of struggles early on. I play Uranils, Uranyls, and then I keep it blocked. He plays Assized for 99 points. 2 moves later, he plays Urinated for 77. Luckily, I have the word Whorehead, H-O-A-R, blank H-E-A-D, for 76, which ends up winning the game. So, won by 57 points. Yeah, so managed to find that, fortunately enough. The weird thing was, so I have this rack on the, so I have this rack. So I have this rack, which plays onto make Whorehead, but there's actually, on the board there's an X and an R on the board like this. So there's an X and a space and then an R. There was a bingo that actually was better than Whorehead that would have played through X and R randomly on the board. I'll leave that for you guys to try and work out for now, and I'll tell you the answer real soon. But that was game 27. Again, that was a win for me. So moving up to 15-12. Okay, so game 28. We have 5 games left. We're playing against Jason Keller. So I will should I go through this one? I guess I can go through this one. Let's go through this one. Okay, so to tell you what the answer is with that rack plus the XR is Paradoxer. That is the word. Yes. Good luck to you for finding that. Not only just finding that, but being sure enough to play it. Oh, sorry, I don't have my InfiniWords game up. So let me just set up. Let me just put the InfiniWords game up so that way you can use the bot. Does it work now? Can you try it? Okay, there you go. Okay, so it does work. Okay, I'm just having it on in the background so that way you can use it. One engages in paradox. Okay, well, that makes a lot of sense, right? Of course. Okay, so we're going to go through game 28 against Jason Keller here. Again, all these games now are like must-wins. Like we have this 5 games of the tournament, and I'm not really that close to. I'm more than a win behind. I'm a win plus spread behind 10th place, so I'm like I cannot afford to keep losing any more games. Okay, so let's switch that around and we'll reset this. So okay, so I'm going first. What do I have here? I have this rack. Could have played tipped here. But I don't know. I actually wanted to exchange instead. And you can see the numbers here. Tipped is slightly better. But I don't know. It's a little bit better than exchanging. Maybe I should have just played tipped. 12 points is probably better than nothing here. But I ended up exchanging 6, keeping the T on my rack. So it's actually a little bit worse. So that's that. He plays the standard move, the most commonly played opening move, and also the most commonly played word in Scrabble, QI. 22 points. Wait. Okay, so this is my rack. So I kind of play a very standard play of null here, and QIN. It does turn out that Lunt is actually slightly better, because it gives away a little bit less. But null here, again, it's not far off the best move here. It's just, it is a bit more kind of hanging towards this triple, but null is good, keeping my optimal leave. Fortunately, he can't really do too much. He plays Olio for 8 points. And then I have this rack. My rack doesn't improve that much. So yeah, I think I missed the best play here of all on. I played a Knoll, which is fine, I guess. It's just okay. It's not great, but I played Knoll here. For 12. All on is a lot better here. Scores a bit more. And yeah, just 6 points more is a bigger deal than not. And open some floating tiles for some good tiles that I'm keeping. So yeah, a little bit of a misstep there, but I was intent on keeping it relatively blocked. Again, trying to think what the best spot would do, and Knoll is better than all the other ones apart from all on. So okay, live and learn, live and learn. And because I don't do that, then he plays Ofter here, and then I actually draw into this. So I did have some good tiles on my rack. I kept RENT. I end up drawing EGI. There's only one playable bingo here that I found, and is Ringat for 72. That is what I did. Next move for Jason, he plays Oof. 32 points. And I have this rack now. Not really that many options without Oof being played, but then once I saw Amiga underneath Oof, then I was like, yeah, I don't feel like I need to look much more than this. Amiga is the best play according to Macondo. And then Jason plays Mo here in between, keeping things blocked. Again, stressing the importance of the S on this board. Really important to have one here because there's not really many other places to go without it. Okay, so I have this rack now. So I have no I have for QI or Uni, I have no S. I'm like, what do I do to keep a good leave now, or to, if I want to block anything up, because I'm slightly ahead, maybe I'll leave Jason, trying to give him make him have the initiative to try and open up the board or do something for me. So I do play the best move here of Uke 25, kind of jams up the bottom part of the board as well, keeping not too bad tiles here. Going up by almost 50, that's good. Then he plays a rear underneath that, so that kind of jams it up more. Not much else there. I do have a bingo, I have Picant again. Don't have an S, so it doesn't play. Really thinking about what to play here. Although PI and QI looks really good, but I ended up playing Cappy here because I was like, well, there's so many other S spots here. Why does it really matter that much if I open Scappy? Another thing to consider here is that the A is open as well, potentially giving away 4-timer bingos or just bingos with the A or the C. So yeah, that's it. Why the engine didn't like this play, it preferred just playing PI instead. So Cappy was what I ended up doing. Still didn't really help Jason because he played Lud underneath Olio. Here I do not draw very well. I end up drawing duplicate N's and T's and a W. I do end up playing the best move here, which is my highest scoring player will win. Aptly what I was aiming to do. 31 points. Again, very deceiving that it even scores 31 points, but it does score a lot there. And yeah, that was that. So I'm up by 71 points now. Interestingly, he plays Sax underneath Win. So again, telegraphing that he has an ass. Now the alarm bells are starting to ring because he played an ass for an extra 2 points. He must have another ass. He's got the S Scappy, Uns, and Lud's hook all sewn up if he needs them. I still do not have any of those things. I have this rack. I'm not really in any position to do much apart from playing Lude and something down there. So I play Jet 25. Yep, is the best play here. So here's the turning point in this game. I say turning point, but it's a big talking point here. So as soon as I play Jet, Jason immediately plays down Evaders. He plays Evaders, A is a blank, for 100 points. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. He plays it here. So this scores a lot of points. And I was like, wait a minute. Why do I not know the word looted? And then I was like, wait a minute. Casting my memory back just 2 games ago against Mohammed Sulaiman, where I was not sure of a word that my opponent played and I did not challenge it. I need to learn from that, because after I played that or let oversafe go, none other than Dennis Kegeregor was lambasting me and was saying, "Why didn't you challenge that move? Like, it's 5 points. Don't be stingy." So I was like, okay, well, I don't remember looted being a word, so I want to challenge it. And I was like, why did he play it like that? Because there's so many other places to play it, or other words to play. So he played it. Looted is not a word. I challenged looted, and it comes off the board. So phew. Okay, so that delays things a little bit. Bingo is about to come down. I'm 52 points ahead. So phew. Okay, yeah, exactly. Phew. I have at least a little bit of time now to like decide what do I want to do, or what options does he have. But the interesting part is that I have this rack now. I've now drawn into some vowels. Actually, I drew all 3 vowels after Jet, so it could have been a lot worse. But Tosing does not play anywhere. And again, all the letters here still at the bottom half of this board. I don't have an S, so there's really not many things to do. And I was like, what if I just do Zoe? And I'm like, well, that just gives away too many points. Azo doesn't really help that much either. Now expurgated word Jinzo is now also not a word, not really playable. ZA is not really any better. So what am I supposed to do now? Like, do I just take my 40 points and then just let him get his 80 to 90 point move, because he has derives to go down here. Well, one of the E's would be a blank, so I don't know. Let's just say this. He's got one of the E's to be a blank. Is that right? Sorry. No, that's not right. Sorry. The I is a blank. Because he played evaders. So yeah, the I is a blank. So he has this for 90 points. So like, and I can't go anywhere near there. So what do I do now? That would kind of what can I do that would keep me in the lead after he plays his bingo? So then I was like, well, I have the Z, so why don't I set up myself for the Z to do something with the Z? Like, what can I do that will not really stop him from playing his bingo on that side, and I can freely play my Z somewhere else? So I decided to play Tangy and Uni here, which really, when I was thinking about it, I was like, this should have some alarm bells ringing in Jason's kind of head here, because I could play Ingati for the same score and not put the A next to triple. So like, this sets up, I'm keeping ZO and I can just play it there next to it for a lot of points. So this will get me 15 plus 64. I have 79 points, and he'll have 90 points. So I'm still going to be around 40 points ahead after this. So Tangy is what I ended up playing. It's actually one of the best moves available, but an even more genius move was playable here that does the same thing, but does a much better job. I don't know if any of you are going to see this, but something that does set up the Z and scores, not saying infinitely amount more, but a lot more was on the cards here, and I should have thought about this at the time. I just kind of saw this as an option and was like, I just have to do this. So this looks good. But I should have been considering all the options and maybe being a little bit more bold and more greedy in this sense. So the so you could generate all these moves right now, and Tangy is not going to come up. And some of the other these standard players are going to be there. But what Macondo wanted me to do is play a move for 4 points, and that was by far the best move here. And this is what I want to show you in this game. It wants me to play Un2. Mind blown already. You now set up Zing above the O for 93 points. And that by far is the best play. That was the move that I needed to play in this spot. And it doesn't put out any floating tiles. It doesn't really do too much. Unlike what Tangy does. Plays like this are why we need Macondo. Yes, exactly. Because not only that, this would have aggregated to more points for me. Tangy and Zoe would have given me 15 plus 64, so that's 79 points. This would give me 4 plus, what is it, 93. It would be 97 points. And that's after my opponent playing a 90 point bingo. I'm actually up by 7 more points. I'd actually be up by still around 60 points after Zing. And there's absolutely nothing that he can really do across it. He could play something like Derv, maybe? I mean, would this be more likely to be blocked? That's the question now. Would he play something like DERV and Derv across the O? Would he just be like, well, the Z is unseen. How can you not block this? It's quite possible that Macondo is not. I mean, obviously, it doesn't realize. It doesn't take into account the human element of, you know what, the O is just sitting there. The bot must have the opponent must have a Z, because he knows that I'm not going to play here. Or does he now play a bingo that plays through the O that blocks any Z play? Like, something like that now becomes a possibility, whereas Tangy is not really as in your face, in my mind anyway. Not as in your face as what 2 is. So that's the kind of like intangibles that I think that Macondo doesn't necessarily it can't take into account. Just the human element of things. Again, just giving it, like, say, the eye test is what we would say in, like, it's in sport, right? You say, like, any sport where you're like, oh, these numbers on these players are not very good, but when you actually watch them play, they have a box of tricks. They can seem to do other things that other people can't, and then that's not captured in the data or the statistics. It's like this. Now you're looking at it and you're like, what is this? What is this move? It's just weird. It's not a move that you would ever play unless you have something there. So Tangy might end up being a little bit less in your face, and that's probably fine. But just again highlighting that Unto would have net a bigger score. So I play Tangy. He plays Derives. I actually don't draw particularly well after this, so I keep ZO. I end up drawing AHLUV, which is again not great, but I'm glad that my spot didn't get blocked, and not only that, I can actually get rid of my U. At the same time, I can play Luz. 65 points. So I'm okay. I'm up by 42 points in the end of all this, so I'm happy that I can flush his bingo out and still stay fairly far in front at this moment in time. Then Jason plays Yup next to Tangy. But the thing is, let me just see here. So I had this as my leave. I end up drawing very well. I drew into ERT, and I play Overheat onto the E. So that was a very fortunate draw on one of the very few spots that would have given me, or words that would have given me, a bingo on this board. So again, very happy about that. So he plays die on the next turn. Here, I have a little anecdote for you. This is my rack here. So I'm just looking at this board. I'm 70 points ahead. There's actually only one O left that would even play here. There's two S's left. There's something that could play potentially next to Yup. The fact that he played die here means this O is now dead. This whole left side of the board is dead, unless you play something very specific through this I in third position. So there's not all that many things left to really deal with. So I play Chib here. Leaves one in the bag. There's 4 tiles left. I leave one in the bag. I'm just blocking this I. I'm going up by 90 points if he decides to. If he can bingo, he's gonna probably score, I don't know, maybe not 90, but potentially if he does parallel Yup, maybe he does. But he opened up something for me, and I have good tiles to maybe bingo back if potentially if that happens. But you know, so yeah, I decided to do this. I can't also put the C out in space because the H is still unseen, so I can't burn the burn the blank or play something out here with the C is not doable. And also leave it to 3 tiles. So yeah, I played Chib. I think this is going to win fairly often. So, cast your mind back to what I said earlier in the stream. In game 16, when I played against Adam Logan, he played Nautier and didn't play Wonkier. So, I'm playing this game 28. I'm sitting actually next to Adam Logan. He's sitting right next to me. He's actually playing his game. Obviously, either bored, maybe he's already won, maybe he's already lost, he doesn't really care. He's sitting next to me, he's obviously watching my game. And it was only until, because this is the final day, it was until after the prize giving ceremony of this tournament where he comes up to me and says, "Do you remember the game when you played against Jason Keller and you missed a bingo?" And I was like, "Excuse me?" I was like, "What? What are you talking about?" And he says, "Remember when you held ABBCII blank and you had a bingo?" I was like, "I still don't understand what you're talking about." And I'm like, now I have to remember what the board was, what was going on at that time. And I was like, okay. And he said, you missed by basic for 102 points. And I was like, oh, okay. I guess I did miss that. Yeah, I did. And that would have actually been obviously the winningest play, because I can't lose after this. I just didn't even see this, to be fair. Didn't even see it. It's like 28,000 probability. I mean, I don't even know if I've got that far with my reviewing of words at this point, or maybe it's like you just see this this rack all the time, and you're like, well, I mean, when you're like anagramming random words, and you're like, okay, well, it's got to be by basic, but like I don't have the blank. You put the blank in there, now it's like it could be anything, or it could be other things that you're thinking of. So yeah. Yes, that's a typical Ottawa Scrabble Club interaction. Okay, well, maybe he was saying that because he missed Wonkia and he was wanting to get one back over me potentially, or like he was just being nice and it was just like, well, I was trying to help him find a better play, and then he's helping me fix something in one of the moves that I played. Okay, cool. No big deal to me either way, but in the end, I did miss this. Not the easiest one to even see, or even if you did see it, would you even see that it plays? I mean, maybe you would, because there's not that many places to go here, but again, the hardest part is finding the word, and I didn't see it. So, again, things like this, I don't deserve to win the tournament if I don't see things like this. But again, I'm 70 points ahead. Is not the biggest problem in the world if I don't find it. The win percentage difference is minimal at this stage because I'm pretty much going to win anyway. But again, with my relatively low spread, it's going to be important to win by a lot. So let's play the rest of it out. I played Chib. He actually, with one, well, actually there's 2 tiles in the bag. He ends up playing off an E for Jete. I have this rack now. There's 1 tile in the bag. I actually drew, crucially, but I drew one of the O. I drew the O, which now means that nothing goes on this N column. Chib means nothing goes through the I or the I here. I mean, there's the O and a D, but it's like, well, nothing is going to score well there. There's still mainly this spot here. It has to be something like ESS something, and I'm like, I don't see any words that would play down there with what's left. So I made the assumption that nothing plays there. So, and I was actually running out of time. I was spending way too long thinking about what to do. So I played a pretty safe play of Cobb here, setting up my other tiles. There's no A or O left unseen, so I can set up my H and the A to go above it. So I do that. He ends up playing Ness, Ness, above that, and then I play my highest scoring move of Halide for 40 points at the end. Just within the time limit. I had about 6 seconds left to make a play. And that was it. So I win by, well, I think he looks like he underscored and moved by 1 point, but it's a 115 point victory for me, improving my record to 16 and 12. Yeah. Now I'm like 14th now, something like that. I'm not really quite sure. 13th or 14th, something like that. Kind of creeping closer to the prizes, but not quite there yet. And yeah, next game. There's 4 games left. I play game number 29 against Sahib Sayonullah. Very strong player from Pakistan. And similarly to Mohammed Slimani, he actually ends up playing 3 bingos in a row at the start, near the start. So I'm already behind by a little bit. I managed to briefly, for one move, catch up with the move of Iopanoic as a blank eye for 61 to put myself in the lead by 3 points, but then he bingos with the other blank, literally that move after that. And then I tried to play a bingo and it didn't quite work, so end up losing by 45 points. And that's a loss number 13 for me. I'm now 16 and 13. I'm now kind of languishing around 15th place or 16th place at this stage. And there's literally now no more room for error. I cannot lose any more games. There's 3 games left. Cannot lose any more if I want to finish in the money. Okay, so round number 30, I'm playing as Laurie Cohen. I've never played her before. I know that I think that she's actually planning to play in Worlds in Ghana. I'm not actually aware of her playing in many Collins tournaments, at least of recent times. So I've never played her before either, so I don't really know, but obviously I know that she's a very strong player. She obviously showed it early on. Well, she bingos early on, and then I bingo straight away. I managed to play Adopt D for 78 points, and then we kind of tied throughout the middle of the game until I draw an S and a blank together on a 3-tile fish with no E's left. I played the word reassign with the R there, so she can't really play anything next to it. But then, now that I'm about 80 points ahead, I now draw into all these constants on a really tight board. I draw the C, I draw the V, I have 3 R's and an L. She ends up playing Jink for 40 points, setting up the A next to it to go parallel along the triple, so then that's now a big problem. I managed to get rid of the V. And then she plays Abs for 46, so now she's only 10 points behind, but I luckily have a place to play off my C for 20 points and see it out for a 22 point victory. A little bit nervy towards the end, but got over the line at least, so now up to 17 and 13. Got a chance now to make it to the top 10 potentially. And now, game 31, the penultimate game of the tournament, I'm now finally having my first repeat. I'm now playing Winter again. The repeat of Winter in game 31. And yeah, fortunately I got an early bingo early on with Narcine for 80 points. And then I have 2 bingos back to back in the middle of the game with Auguries and Emoting. Putting me up by about 120 points. I see the game out, 110 point victory for me in game 31 against Winter, putting me now 18 and 13, around 600-ish spread, putting me in 11th place, I think. 11th or... yeah, I think I'm in 11th place at this stage. So with the way that the pairings kind of went out, or kind of panned out, a win and you're in the final game. So yeah, I was paired with another repeat game against Enoch Nawali. Again, incredibly strong and incredibly quick. And if you remember me talking about Enoch Nawali earlier in the stream, he dealt me my biggest loss of the tournament. Well, one of my biggest losses of the tournament with 5 bingos against me in that game. And I also lost to him at in another tournament that we played in before. So I've actually never beaten him before. Did he do it in 6 minutes? No, he did it in 7 minutes. True story. He had about 17, just over 17 minutes left. So he was a bit on the slow side there for him. Wondering if he was feeling alright, but yeah. So this was the last game of the tournament. So let's go through this last one. So let's see how this one goes. And in classic Enoch Nawali style, he plays this game again very quickly. So not only am I like, okay, I have to win this game, but obviously he's putting the time pressure on you. He's not necessarily giving you any time to think. There's actually in this game specifically wait a minute, let me just do this again. In this game specifically, we're playing next to Josh Sokol and Ben Schonbrand, who's sitting literally right next to us. And Enoch is literally like slapping the words down on the board so fast that Ben starts laughing out loud because he's seeing Enoch just going at it. Like the clock is not even his side of the clock isn't even moving. He's just like slapping on the board and just hitting the clock. And he just starts laughing because it's happening so he's playing so fast. But yeah, let's go through this game, this final game of the tournament. And this first rack is not particularly great either, so this is not a good start for me. So let's type this in. So yeah, this is my first rack. Yeah, great. In terms of like racks that have no vowels, this probably is not that bad. Obviously, you would rather have a Y in there, but without if I have no vowels and no Y, this is probably not that bad. It's probably one of the best racks you could have, right? Maybe, I don't know. I've not done analysis on that, but no vowels, no Y. What is the best rack? No vowels. Wait, no vowels, no Ys, no S's, no blanks. Is this good? Maybe. Yes, probably a fine rack for going second, which would be great if I was going second, but I'm not, so I don't have that luxury. I just play, I mean, out of all the 3 words that I could play, I think I picked the best one. I played nth. So yeah. So setting up the C above or the M below, I'm like, maybe. Cruth, maybe, yes. Maybe that is probably better. Yeah, something that would give you a 5-letter play that scores well, maybe. I was actually not that far away from that here, but okay. It's not that bad. Again, out of all the possible racks with no vowels and blah blah blah, this is not that bad. Kruth, okay. That's a new one. Should have tried to pluralize that later on in the game. Okay. So nth comes down again. Enoch, within literally like 5 seconds, he's starting slapping words down the board. He's playing Vintry onto the board. 26 points. Okay, so this is now my rack here. Interestingly, well, there's a lot of very low probable words that are very similar to Rummock. And I was like, is Rummock a word? Or is there something similar to Rummock that would be a word? For those, again, a lot of you in the chat would not have got that far in the study regime yet. So I will tell you what the words are that I was thinking about, is actually crummock. So I need a floating C, and drummock, need a floating D, and those are words. Both, for those that only play NWL, those are not words in your dictionary. They're both Collins only. And you can also play bummock, hummock, and mummock. All of those are also words. Bummock and mummock, Collins only also, only hummock good, and then you can play hummocky as well. So, a lot of words that are very similar to that. Almost forgot about wazzock. Yeah, that's I think that's an insult word, so I know that one. But yeah, all of those pretty much at the bottom, like 2% of probability, or something like that. 2 or 3% of the probability list is like the 97th percentile or something like that. I don't know. It's very far down. Again, not words that you would words that you would find if you were on Aerolith, because there's not many other words you can make, but not words that you would be like, I would happily put my house down on what this is right. In any case, doesn't really matter in this situation because none of those things came up. But I have a nice play of muck here for 30, keeping MOR. I can finally kind of start working towards a bingo here, so it's good. Rollick, Rollick, Ruddock, and Rullock. Yes. Again, you could literally type out words here in this list, and I would not necessarily be fully sure if you're actually putting a phony in that list. I would not be 100% sure. Yes, a lot of those words, yeah, like double consonants in the middle. Yeah, that's really hard to remember. Okay, well, now we've gone past that because Muck has been played. He quickly plays 0-0 in between for 18 points. Unfortunately here I have MOR on my rack, and I end up drawing GRS blank. So I was partly thinking, is Gormers a word? Gormers? And I was like, that doesn't sound right to me. Again, don't play a phony word if you're not sure. And I did find a bingo here through the eye of Vintry, and it is rigorism. And that ends up being the only bingo playable here. Obviously in 2 different positions, but I took the extra 9 points. So yes, played that. 70 points on the board with a bingo. And again, in about 5 seconds, he slaps down slaps down another 6 tiles and plays Maquila for 57 points on the triple. So he's actually not that far behind again. Great. And I'm kind of sitting with a rack that looks like this, which is not great. Looking to get rid of some of these ugly tiles. A lot of ugly tiles here on my rack, but I can find a word that would get rid of a lot of them, and that's the word forge through the art of rigorism. That ends up being the best play here. 26 points. And then he plays Nye, N-Y-E, for 31 points next to Muck. So again, despite having a bingo already, he's only 6 points behind, and he's only used literally about a minute and a half so far. Not even that. And I'm here sitting like a chump trying to work out what to do. I have this rack. It looks relatively straightforward in terms of what to do here, but fair is not the best play. I ended up doing this. I was actually slightly worried about what letters he might have. He just played Nye. Worrying about bingos underneath the E or above the A here, or hooking Nye. I wanted to kind of take out a lot of that space. But something like a fear or even hope actually was slightly better. So yeah, I needed to kind of look around the board here and actually pay attention to what's going on, but fair was what I did. Then he played Oxo, so he plays the X and the O next to Rigorism, and now he's slightly ahead. And I actually don't draw very well because, well, actually, you know what? The letters on this rack are actually not far off what I ended up drawing. I had AEPR and I drew AEE. So those are not tiles I wanted to see on my rack, and this is actually a kind of a slight mistake on my play here. And I actually ended up picking a play that wasn't very good, in all honesty with you. Again, in an ideal world, I'd like to play something like just EA here. I just didn't really like that I could potentially draw into more vows, or I just cannot really do much. And I ended up picking a move that actually isn't even listed here. I did initially have the word reap on here, and I'm keeping 3 vowels, and it opens up some things. I arguably did something maybe worse than that. I ended up playing Raffi, however you pronounce it, here for 22, keeping AEE, which is pretty ugly. I just wasn't really sure what to do. I was sitting here thinking for about 4 minutes, and again, since Enoch plays very quickly, it's my time is dwindling very quickly. I'm probably already used 10 minutes already. Not a great play, in all complete honesty. Was a misstep. So that comes down. And again, in an instant, he plays a 4-timer. He plays Donative through here. Very nice play. 48 points. Like quick as a flash, he's already played it. So need a little bit of luck sometimes. I kept AEE. So just like what I did with Muck, I kept MOR, picked the S and the blank. I drew the other blank here. I drew ATW blank from the bag, which could obviously have been a lot worse. So the question is, what bingos do I have, and where can I play them? So I have T-Ware. I saw T-Ware. Where can I play it? Well, it looks like I only have one place, and it's right here. Oh. It's right here, but it doesn't score very much. The blank is on the triple letter square. I'm losing 6 points there with the blank in that spot. And I'm also opening up a triple. These are not particularly great options here. I'm now 29 points behind because of Donative. I score, what is it, like 60 something? Mid 60s for this move. And then if he hits the triple with another 30 points, we're back to level again. So, is this really a good move? So, if I'm looking at other moves, I'm now looking at just playing OR. AWE. I have the T for UNT, I have the T for EFT, I have the blank to hook here as well. So maybe it's one of those situations where you're like, let's wait for a better bingo, a higher scoring bingo or better place bingo to play. So, we're looking at T-Ware and OR. You can see statically it's actually not that far apart. It's a 35 point difference on the scoreboard, but you're keeping AET blank. Again, almost worth 35 points, but not only that, you're giving away points positionally because of the T in this really cool, in this amazing spot that your opponent will probably just play through. So, if we just kind of, if we get rid of all these other moves and we simulate this. Oh, wait a minute, that's not what I want to do. I pressed the wrong button, sorry. Okay, those two moves are there. And we're going to simulate this. You're going to see that OR comes out on top. I think significantly is about 3 or 4%. That's quite a lot. So OR is actually a better play here, and that is what I did. I forwent the bingo. I decided to keep it tight. Let's just keep the scores even here and wait for a better chance to bingo. So that's what I did. It was the best play, according to Macondo. Then Enoch plays WE underneath Raf for 30 points. So yeah, I have AET blank. And I did not draw well if I wanted to bingo. If I want to bingo this turn, I drew terribly. Again, if I wanted to bingo, I drew terribly. But this is what I drew. I drew the J and the Z. And in this case, I don't have to bingo. This is great, because I can play Azote underneath PE, keeping J blank. 77 points, keeping my blank. Oh, okay, alright. I'm okay with that. So, great draw. And not only that, again, things that you cannot see right now is that this was a very simple move. I can just play it very quickly, and then I can send the time back to Enoch. 77 points on the board. He doesn't take much time to play Bluet here, next to F, which actually blocks a bunch of bingo lanes. So it was a bit of a curious move on his part. I'm not quite sure what he was trying to do. But yes, this did block up a few things. Maybe he's not that strong with what he has. So this is now what I have. I kept J blank. I've actually drawn 5 pretty good tiles. Again, 3 S's unseen. Maybe he doesn't have any of them. He went to try and go for the S's. And the fact there were 3 S's left kind of factored into the reason why I played Jow and not Jowl. You can obviously get rid of the L here for 1 extra point. But I didn't want to open up an S spot on column H where my opponent could crush for like 40 points. I just wanted to keep it short with Jow, and with almost any vowel I would be able to bingo, I think, or non-vowel even. So I did that. I did play Jow, 13 points, keeping my lead to 46. And again, without much time, he ends up playing Seriate next to Bluet for 73 points. So didn't take much time to think about it. But for you out there that may have noticed that there is another bingo that could play as an 8. So there is actually a T on nth in the middle of the board. He could play Tyriest. So is that a miss? Maybe did he play too fast? Or did he actively not want to play Tyriest? This is also 4 points more than Seriate, and this is obviously very dangerous, leaving this whole side of the board ripe for the picking here as well. Maybe he was like, well, I'm fishing J, this is the most obvious place to bingo, maybe I'm blocking this bingo lane and not giving away as much. That could also be a train of thought here. It's a very valid train of thought, because this move would put him up by around 25 to 30 points. He's also blocking the bingo on the E here too. So looking at the board now, there's not all that many places to go apart from maybe the S or Seriate. So he went there. He didn't take much time to think about it, so he must have considered it for a little while. But I just played Jow, so maybe, I don't know. So he plays that. So this is what I wait a minute. Yeah, this is what I kept. Again, very strong. I ended up drawing the N from the bag. So again, very yeah, there's bingos available here. Whether or not I found the best bingo is another question. So I'm now down by 27. A bingo is definitely coming down. But what is the best bingo to play here? So let's look at the options here. I'm not even going to consider anything that's below here. There's only realistically 3 options here. So Rendable and Rekindle are both kind of similar, but Rendable scores one more point. This scores the most, but it does keep this spot open. I mean, there's bingos that end with an S, very easy to hit, and E in 7th position, relatively easy to hit. And there's other bingos that would also fit here, like Relined for 87 or 86, depending on where you put the blank. And this is what I did, because I wanted to kind of disrupt the spot, and the R and E might be a little bit more troublesome to block, because it's kind of a bit further out in space than maybe blocking this T. So it actually now becomes a question of what you want to do with the board. And also there's 2 A's on scene, ending bingos with a bid as well is now a factor. So after analysis with Macondo, it actually does prefer me playing Rendable in. Again, I don't dispute that whatsoever. There's only 1 O, and things ending with S. Again, he just bingoed. So any 7 tiles he could have right now, could play there. But it's just very easy to bingo with this S. Those extra, to me at the time, those extra 6 points doesn't really matter that much. It's just a matter of just stopping him from bingoing completely, and maybe having 2 floating tiles that are an E or an R might be a problem. So I think that might be what Macondo is thinking here. Bizarrely, Reline for 86 actually also sims better than Reline that was 87, and I actually redid the sim multiple times, and it actually preferred me scoring 1 point fewer. For some reason, I don't really quite know why, but again, I don't know. Anyway, I did Relined for 87 points, so I'm now up by 60. And this is probably the move so far in this game. This is the move number 10. This is the move that Enoch now takes a few minutes to think, and he comes up with a 9-point play of Uni next to Syriate. Leaves 3 in the bag, and granted, if we don't even look at what it is here, I mean, let me just put my tiles in here. So let me look at the tiles that I have here, and then you're looking at the tiles that are left: A, B, C, E, I, L, S, S, T. He gets 7 of those 10 tiles, and the tiles left are actually pretty good. I'm up by 51 points. It now becomes a question of, can a bingo be played, and where is it most likely that the bingo will be played? And how can I find the most safest way to win this game, path to victory? So again, Syriate was his bingo 2 moves ago. He played Uni. He played 3 tiles. And then now it's his turn, or what I mean, it will be his turn soon. So what could he possibly have? It's hard to really make any kind of assumption in terms of what he might have, apart from maybe he has an I. Maybe, I mean, that's probably something he has. I mean, there's 2 S's. Maybe he has an S. There's a better chance he has an S. But what else? I mean, you don't really know. But what I really came to think was that if a bingo comes down with the T, he's probably going to have the E. I mean, a lot of the time, he's going to have that E for it to fit. If he has a bingo to the R, again, probably even more times, he's going to have the E there too. But he doesn't have to have the E to bingo onto this E of Reliant. So there are three main places to go. Again, a bid might be a somewhat a fourth place, but not as likely. I figured maybe what I could do, I mean, I can't really block this and leave tiles in the bag. I can't really score any points here either without potentially opening something else up. So with 3 tiles in the bag, I was like, well, maybe what I have to do here is just play something down from here or across here that would not give away much. I can play 2 tiles maybe, just going down here, leave 1 in the bag, and not immediately lose the game if my opponent plays a bingo. So after some thought, I probably took about 5 minutes on this turn. This is a really important move. I was considering about playing things down there, or even PSI. I could even empty the bag with something like Jip, because there's no N for I and G endings. The I is hard to end with. This also blocks the A. But what if he bingos out with a bingo with a T? Then it's game over. And I'm far enough in front. I'm 51 points ahead. I'm far enough in front where if I do score like 15-20 points and I'll get another turn, I could still outrun him. This is the difference between the points here. 51 points. If I'm like 31 points in front, maybe something like Jip would come down a lot sooner, because I'm now blocking as many places as possible, and I'm not giving him another chance to fish for something. So with the fact that I'm 51 in front, I end up playing OP here, and it's 16 points. So if I simulate this play, the valuation obviously not so good because of the leave, but it does win a lot of the time. So I felt like I have an 84% chance of winning here, according to Quackle. I think it's not too dissimilar to what it said on the condo, but I'm obviously a heavy favorite to win because Enoch needs to bingo here. So that is what I did. I played op. I'm like, I'm gonna have to go for the highest scoring play that goes there. 51 plus 16, I'm 67 points ahead. If he bingos onto the T, it probably scores maybe almost 80, probably. I'm about 13 behind. Maybe I can squeeze out 25-30 points. Maybe I can still win. So that's the real thing here. I don't know, but it's tough. So I played op, and then after maybe a minute or two again, he plays the B. Can I survive Baselect? Probably not. No. I mean, if that happens, then I'm probably going to lose anyway. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I could really win after that. I mean, there's going to be some combinations where I'm just going to lose. Like, this is exactly why it's 84%, not 100. But I think I'm just going to have to block off 2 potential bingo lanes here. So I'm just going to say this from my point of view now. Okay, this is not Enoch's tiles, but I have drawn. Wait, so I have this. And for what it's worth, I actually ended up drawing the E and the S from the bag. Right? And this is what's in the bag. A, B, C, I, L, S, T. And now I'm actually kind of bricking myself. Because I'm like, I think there's a 9-letter word that plays onto the O and the R if he has the right tiles. I don't know, can you guys see what that is? That's the question. And I'm like, the question is now, yes, Simulator, yes, I to 115 also. Yeah, so now I'm like, oh no, is he gonna because now Enoch has about he has like 13 minutes left. I'm like, is he just gonna wait and figure out what to play here, or has he worked it out and is he just like thinking if this is a word or not? And I'm like, I'm not 100% sure. I'm pretty sure that it's good. But based on the tiles left, I was like, this I think is the only thing that could play there, and I just have to hope that he doesn't have those tiles. Okay, so fortunately, I mean, obviously you guys know that I managed to finish in the top 10, so you guys wouldn't know that I won this game. But it's his turn still, and he actually ended up playing the B here. He plays ball. Oh, okay, so we'll do this. And I'm going to put my letters back in again. So now he has this. Sorry, I was just talking about, what, from my point of view, that was what my letters were, and I was like, oh no, this is a way that he can win. Sorry, back on the actual rack that I had and the actual score, after he played ball, and he has this rack. So then I was like, wait a minute, is silicator a word too? And I was like, italics doesn't play. I don't think there's anything to the T. I was like, oh, now I'm not sure. I was like, how many other ways could I lose here? Bearing in mind that, again, there's a good number, it's a decent prize pool here. Like, even finishing in 9th or 10th place is still going to get you a good amount of money. So I'm like, cannot afford to lose, cannot afford to not win this game here in this situation. So end up playing Dag and blocking off this spot. Again, it's not necessary, might not necessarily be the best play, but not this. So I played Dag here, just in case silicator is a word. It's not. It is not a word, but just in case. So I played Dag, and then he kind of gives up. He plays CIT here, and then I have dies to go out. So phew. Not too bad. I won 88 points, 459 to 371. Phew. I managed to somehow come out with this. I went 5-1 the last 6 games, 19-13. Good enough for a 9th place finish. Somehow pulling this out the fire once again, and getting like $1,200. So not too bad. Otherwise, I would have just got nothing if I didn't win this game. Again, that was kind of highlighted. Maybe I think it was like 6 games of my tournament. Some of them made some bad errors. Some of them made some good plays. Obviously, there's things I can improve on. A lot to improve on, to be fair. But I don't know if I can iron all those things out before the next tournaments, but I will try my best. But yes, that is essentially how my tournament kind of panned out in a nutshell, in the space of about 2.5 hours of explaining. But yeah, finishing 9th, pretty happy with that in the grand scheme of things. I was not in the top 10 for a lot of the tournament, to be completely fair. But yeah, it was a very tough tournament. Again, mixing it with the best players in the world is always going to be tough. But the fact that I was in there at the end is good. So that's, again, good sign. But yeah, I think that is all I have to really tell you for tonight. Again, very happy that I got some money out of this. My wife also won just over $1,000 also, finishing 7th place in Division 2, and my daughter Leah winning $1,500 for 2 class prizes, and going up almost 300 points as well. for playing in her first CSW tournament. She's actually got a rating of. Wait, let me just pull this up again. Her rating at CSW is now went from 1015, which was a initial WoW rating, to 1303. So, yeah, that was pretty good. Yeah, 41st seed, and then finishing 17th. Again, surpassed our expectations, at least. I mean, we know that she's been practicing here at home for a while, and I mean, I've always been saying that she's probably closer to 1200, 1300 rating right now, but actually just doing it in a big tournament like this is proving it. But now she'll go back to playing. Well, she's actually going to be coming to St. Louis with us to play, so she'll be playing in the WoW Dictionary for the next tournament, and then she'll be playing in Baltimore, so she'll be going to the NWL literally the week after that. So a lot of switching around for my daughter, but I think she can handle it for the time being. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. Yeah, she'll be playing in Division 4 at or whatever the lowest divisions are in both of those tournaments. So hopefully she can get some wins on the board. Oh no, mate, face her. Oh, okay. Well, we'll see. Oh, I don't know. I'm not sure. We'll have to see. Hi to Tatum in the YouTube chat saying love from MD. Yes, we'll be there next month. So yeah, I hope to see some of you guys there as well. You'll be playing in B or C. Okay. Yeah, well, we'll see. I'm not sure where. I haven't actually looked at the list yet, so we'll have to look at it soon. But yeah, good to know. Anyway, I think that kind of wraps up my kind of analysis for this tournament. Again, I can't go through all the games, but that was kind of it for now. But yeah, I'll be back again on Tuesday for another stream. I think what I'm actually going to do on Tuesday, before I kind of resume my best of 150 games against the best bot, I might do an Infinity Word stream on Tuesday, because my card box has kind of had a bit of a backlog now over the last week or so. So I might need a bit of help to kind of ease that backlog by getting you guys to answer some questions on the screen whilst I do my card box. So maybe I'll do that, and then we'll resume the Best Bot series in 7 days time, and then we'll finish that, we'll complete that all the way up until just before World Cup. So I think that's the plan for the next month or so in terms of my streams. Again, I hope that you guys may have found this stream informative or interesting in some way, or entertaining in some way. With that, I don't necessarily play the best moves all the time. I definitely don't. There's still a lot to learn, even for players at my level as well. That we all can't be perfect machines like the best bot / Nigel. So yeah. Anyway, that is all I have. Again, I hope you guys have a good weekend. Have a good evening, morning, afternoon, wherever you are. Again, don't forget to hit that follow button on this channel right now if you don't already follow. We're actually 2 followers away from 800, so that'd be great if you could do that. If you're watching on YouTube right now, please hit that subscribe button. I do have some videos out on my channel. I haven't made any recently, but because I've been trying to really knuckle down on these big tournaments this summer. But go check those out if you haven't already. Go subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can also support this channel on Twitch by giving some bits. If you want to, completely up to you. You can also subscribe. That also helps this channel in many more ways than I can care to explain. But otherwise, again, I hope you all have a good weekend. I'll be back on Tuesday around 8:30 US Central Time for some Finny Words Anagram Racing Tuesdays. We'll do a one-off one then, and then we'll continue with the best bot. So until then, hope you have a good one. I'm gonna have to see if I can raid anybody. Oh, I'm gonna go raid Axotypo. He is the one that finished one place below me in the standings. So go say well done to him. He finished 10th in this tournament, and yeah. Hope you enjoy his music as well. He's playing some music right now. Looks like he had a haircut too. Okay, interesting. Alright, everyone. Take care of yourselves, everyone. Have a good evening. And good night, everyone. See you later.